Welcome, everybody, to another episode of A Student's Handbook, where we talk about sports and careers and the life in between.
Hello, everyone. It is week 2, and I am here with a fellow intern of mine. First person that I reached out to when I was trying to find a place here. He actually only lives about 10 minutes away, but it's Danny O'Brien. Hello, Danny.
How we doing? How we doing?
Danny is currently a videographer for University of Colorado, and he is in the original programming Fox Sports intern. So, not my department, but another department. And we both share a very big passion for videography and sports. So, welcome to the pod, Danny.
Thanks for having me, Ernst.
But tell me a little bit about your videography journey, coming out of a tennis player from Morningside, which is in Iowa, that came out of Morningside and then transferred to CU and started this videography. Let's hear a little bit about that.
Yeah, obviously Morningside's like 4 hours right from College. Um, and funny story, like I remember I told you when we first met in person, I dislocated my knee there at College, and that was a miserable bus ride back. Like it was terrible. Like 4 hours back to Morningside. Those who are familiar, obviously some of your buddies at College, they kind of understand the area, but yeah, I got injured last year, and then I didn't know what I wanted to do um my sophomore year of college, and I just picked up a camera. I started making videos for um the Morningside tennis team, and a lot of people like in the school, they thought they were sweet. It was just like a different way to embrace like the sports environment. I'm sure because I saw like some of your work too, what you were doing with basketball. If you're not a huge school, like you don't have your own like special videographer school, for the
100%.
team,
Yeah.
you know, and so it was kind of cool. It's like I just did it and I sent my coach the videos because he ran the Instagram and he was like sweet and he put them on and they just started getting a lot of views and followers to the account. And then I was like, man, this is sweet. Like I really like to do this. Like I love this work of like satisfaction and kind of thinking, man, like I can see my work and then like people can judge it, people can like it, whatever. And started doing that more. And so I was going to leave Morningside because the communications was just not a good program, and I just didn't like it. So I just transferred to CU. I'm not from Colorado, from Longmont, Colorado, the Boulder area. I don't know if
Hmm.
anyone from if you know anyone from there, but um yeah, I had a buddy who worked on who's actually a defensive assistant for the defense right now, student assistant.
Hmm.
So he kind of helped me out, and I work with the football team now doing video. So yeah, it's pretty sweet, pretty cool gig.
How was that transition? Before we get into any of the videography stuff, how was that transition from being an athlete to sort of just being like a normal student? I'm
Oh
obviously,
yeah,
yeah, because obviously when you're a videographer, you're still at the trainings and the practices and all that, but the experience is obviously a little different.
no, yeah, totally. It is weird being at a practice and like, but not actually doing the sport or working out. Instead, you're filming the people working out. So that was weird. But the translation from being an athlete, like I was athlete all of high school, like even summers, I was always playing. Like I just never stopped. And then I wanted to play once I got out of high school, so I just pursued tennis, and it was great. Like it just, I still miss it a lot. You kind of take it for granted when you're like still playing, but the transition from that to like kind of being more of a student and then photographer, because not like it's photographer is like being is not as much as a sport. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm.
Like the sport actually feels like a real job. Like
Yeah.
you're always doing it. But I would say like being a student, being a athlete and a student at the same time, you kind of caught yourself sometimes where you just would care more about your sport than like your school.
Hmm.
And even like that's what happened. Like I kind of just pushed off like what I wanted to do with my career my first 2 years because I was just focused on the sport and just like making friends, like with a team, hanging out with the team, that whole aspect of sport. And
Yeah.
obviously a little different in college, but that sport kind of an athlete was just definitely a little different.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it though.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I spoke to you about this in my last guy that I had on the pod last week about a little bit of an identity shift.
Oh,
because
like once you're done playing.
yeah,
Yeah.
did you experience that? Like you weren't really sure what else there was for you?
I don't think I did feel it once the season came around again because I was like, man, I should be playing.
Mhm.
But what's actually been helping me out with that is that I'm around the football team of Colorado all the time. So I'm always out of practice. So it kind of feels like I'm part of the team in a way and like I'm there, but I'm like not working out, if that
Yeah.
makes sense, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
So I feel like I never really lost like that team aspect a little bit because I'm always around their team. I'm always hearing about that. Plus, we have the team of the people I work with, and it's just all sports involved. So
yeah,
it's kind of like, I but yeah, you do definitely feel like, damn, like what do I do now?
yeah. So how let's talk walk me through. So you picked up your videography at Morningside and then you get accepted to CU. How
Mhm.
does that jump from how did you get that job from to the football team?
Yeah. So like I said earlier, like my buddy works with he was a student assistant. He is a student assistant for the defense, and which is like a crazy job. Like you don't apply for that. Like they pick you, which is weird. It's
Wow.
so weird.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like I don't like he applied to be equipment manager and then he he had an interview for that, but then they saw his application and then one of the coaches on the defense was like, "Hey, this is from the defense, we want to talk to you about the position." He like killed the interview. And so he kind of helped me get in with that. And so at first I started, well, actually still do now, but my goal was to do the creative stuff, like flashy
Mhm.
and like stuff that you've done,
Yeah.
on your Instagram stuff. Mine was my
Uh-huh.
goal, but a lot of people were there. There's a lot of students for that. So I was like, well, I'll just work with coaches film. So the coaches film is like your basic sideline end zone shots, behind the quarterback, kind of like we had this thing called a pole camera. It's like a
Uh-huh.
15-foot pole with the camera on top, and you just run with it. It feels like a javelin. Swear to God, dude, it's like so messed up. And it's like hot too sometimes. And it's like a crazy thing. You don't want to hit any of the coaches or the
Yeah.
players. And you're running up and down. Like they do this thing called tempo. And it's just go like Shador, just like go, go, go. Right. And then you got coaches, you got Prime yelling over here and everything. Like, and you're just behind the quarterback. You set up, you stand 15 yards back, and it's just, dude, constant. You got screaming. And I remember when we were prepping for away games, they would put like the loudspeakers for like the crowd. And I'm
Yeah.
standing right there, and they got these two big speakers right in my ear, playing like the fight songs, the chant songs, like TCU, for example, always had one
Mhm.
before we played TCU. And they play crowd noise, like the hype songs, like Mo Bamba, Sandstorm, Kerncraft 400, like, oh, classic college, vibes.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
but anyway, I got distracted there. But like, you just kind of, I just did that stuff and I was there every single time for the game. And it was cool. I got to be on the field every single pregame. So just chill out with the players when they're warming up and stuff. And um, tickets were crazy last year. Like, you just had to,
Yeah. Because they
like, it
picked
was
up Deion
nuts.
Sanders too, right? Like that was his
Yeah,
first year.
yeah, no, his first year was sick. Yeah, no, this will be his second year, in the fall. Like, well, actually, he already is kind of in the second year. So, but then anyway, I got distracted with that too as well. But you kind of I just worked with the team um, and then coming to what I do now. So I work with the social media team. So I was able to like work my way with that. And what I did was, I was always kind of nagging the guy. I was like, hey, it's Nelson, my boss, and I was like, hey, like. Um, just want to show you my work, blah, blah, blah. And he was
Hmm.
like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And so in the spring, I just kind of like, it was like a tryout and they were really impressed. And so I just showed them my work
Yeah.
and they wanted to hire me on. So this would be like my first season working with the social media team of the CU football, like Twitter and Instagram.
Hmm.
And my work's on the Instagram as well, too. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a rewarding feeling when you see your work like on the phone. Because I know personally when I tie anything to like co-athletics and I see like the views rack up, like I'm like refreshing it and it
Oh,
goes
yeah.
like
Yeah.
1,000, 2,000, 3,000. You're like, man, if I put that many people in a single room, it's like, whoa.
Yeah. No, that's what's cool about it. Well, I mean, like, what's even Look, I don't know. Are you posting on your account or are you posting on the co basketball?
Not the basketball. So our for Co, because it's such a small school, our coaches
Yeah.
actually run the basketball account. And
Yeah,
then
I know.
our
Yeah.
SID is ran our SID runs co-athletics. So how I do my stuff is that I would, if I'm doing like co-athletics, I would actually post it on my personal and then tag co-athletics as a collaborator.
Oh, I got you. And then it would just
Yeah.
okay.
And then so like
Yeah, yeah.
both of our platforms get those views. So
Yeah,
it
that makes
reaches
sense.
everyone.
But I feel you with like seeing those views rack up, especially if you don't have a crazy like Instagram following. Like
Yeah.
I have my own photography account, and I obviously there's more people than followers that see it, but it's like sweet, like
Yeah.
But with the Colorado football, their Instagram has 1 million followers, so it's like the views and stuff are crazy, and I'm like, damn, you know.
Yeah.
But it sucks because you don't get credit. Like you can't say this was made by who. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it just all goes on to one thing. So
Yeah, but are you allowed, like, I mean, surely you can just keep those videos for yourself and just add it to your portfolio. So then by the time you like apply for something, you'd be like, hey, this isn't the work that I've done for CU though. Like, you can do
yeah,
that, can't
no,
you?
yeah, I keep track of like the videos I did, and I'll repost on my Instagram story. I just have like a whole like story section of like bus football, and then people, if they click on it, can see like the ones I did. I'll just
Yeah,
put like a little emoji on my story of like my personal, like, oh, I did this or something.
yeah, yeah, that's smart.
Nothing crazy, but just to get some credit, but
Yeah,
then also save them, like you said, for the uh portfolio, which is like, oh, you're probably doing the same thing too, huh?
more or less. I mean, my because I post to my personal, I don't have to worry so much about the portfolio part of it because my Instagram is sort of my portfolio, if that makes
Hmm.
sense.
Yeah. No, that does make sense. But then also like because like have you ever thought about making a like an actual portfolio, like a website?
I have thought about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same. I might do it.
I think you should. I mean, throw that on your LinkedIn. I
That's what I'm
mean,
saying. No, it's really good for like, especially if you stay in that field, if you want to do another thing because people want to see it. Um, like bosses and companies, and it's just easy. They can scroll. Oh, here's his pictures. Here's his photos. Rather than it's like a resume
yeah.
that's
Oh,
even better.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Hmm.
Like you have to have sort of somewhat of a portfolio. And then I'm actually bringing my portfolio in, sort of starting to thinking about it while I'm working tag board, because in tag board, everything goes on air, right? So if I put something up and I hit up the producer, I'm like, hey, I got something for you. And then they look at it and they say, I like it. Then they'll replace it with one of the ABC sections and be like, and then it
Hmm.
goes on air in the next 5 minutes. One thing I didn't realize was one of my Albanian posts, that Albania game for the UEFA Euros was
Hmm.
15 million views, dude.
Really? And it
Yeah.
was what was it of again?
It was like some random, it was a horse that it was a horse, a statue of a horse.
Oh, that you find on social
You
media,
find
right?
it on social media, you throw it in the format, and then you're sort of like, if it's good, only if it's good, you're like, hey, director, hey, producer, I got something for you. And then they sort of give it the go ahead.
Oh, that's insane.
Yeah.
That's crazy. 15 million. I believe it, dude, because it's such a huge tournament. Everyone's reposting. Like anything that's funny, like the saxophone guy.
Oh, yeah.
Have you
Yeah.
seen that?
I
It was
found
for
him.
the guy
Yeah.
for Germany.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's pretty cool. But you should definitely keep note of that because um actually in the master class that we had yesterday, she was like, keep keep track of like the work that you do, to put on. And so I'm gonna keep track. I'm kind of a base keep track of like the work because I work for the herd,
Uh-huh.
and so my work goes on air as well. And I cut up like highlights of NFL basketball and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's rewarding as well because you're like, oh, sweet, there's my work.
Yeah. So tell the audience a little bit more about your time at, but we'll go back to Deion Sanders. That's a whole topic in and of itself.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, no, that
but
is, yeah, you're right.
yeah, because you mentioned what you do at Fox, let's jump into that real quick. Yeah, just tell the audience what you're doing there and what the day to day looks like.
Yeah, so obviously, started here in like June and then got the job with Fox Sports, and I work for the Herd with Colin Cowherd, and it's pretty fun. Like so what I'll do is, if for example for the NBA Finals, if Luka Doncic had a terrible game, I would just find all of like his bad stuff of like missed shots, turnovers, you know, just maybe not so much missed shots, but ugly shots. You're like, what do
Yeah.
you do? What are you doing pulling that up?
Uh-huh.
And so I'll pull that up. I'll put it together, and so I'll send it to like the editors, and they'll polish it up. And then if they're talking about the NBA Finals, like for example, like a couple weeks ago, they'll talk about Luca, and then as they're talking, my work goes like as B-roll,
Mm-hmm.
on like
Yep.
right next to their face, and you
Uh-huh.
just see Luca or Tatum, like the Tatum's like dropping hella bombs. It's just I just put three after three or dunk or assist, nice assist. It's like um, it's pretty cool. It's pretty fun, and yeah, just it's a blast work. I actually do really like working here. It's my first time out in LA as well, so
Yeah. Yeah. What have you done in LA thus far? I mean, we went to the Beverly Hills car show together.
we
Um,
yeah we did. That was pretty sweet.
have you done anything else?
Uh yeah, gone out a couple times, but I'll sometimes just chill at Santa Monica Beach and
Yeah.
just watch the sunset. But that's kind of much. I don't have a car. We both don't have
Yeah.
cars. So to take it, like, and dude, I just went to the laundromat today. Like, I go into a laundromat. Like, I'm
Oh, damn. Your place doesn't have laundry?
nah, but like,
You
it's not. I like it. Like, it's kind of a different little life. It's a different life that I've never lived. So it's
Yeah.
it's it's fun to experience kind of how other people live.
Yeah.
And like sometimes, just with uh, just like being in life, like, oh man, we have it, nice with that stuff. But even the bus too, like some people just always take the bus,
Yeah.
and this is my first time consistently riding. I'm not from a big city, so it's like my first time consistently riding a bus. But I have no issues with it so far. I actually like it.
Yeah. I mean, I actually have a lot of issues with the bus. So like growing up in Sydney, Australia, public transport is
Oh
like
yeah.
huge. It's huge,
Oh yeah,
right?
that's why I said small city, because I know you're from Australia.
Yeah.
So I was like, hint, hint. I don't. You're from Australia. I'm not
Yeah.
from a crazy
And
city.
bro, I'll tell you what, this week has been, I could rant about it all week. But the bottom line is this week, the polling line didn't work. So it dropped me off about 5 minutes down south, which, if you know anything about Pico Boulevard, that's like a 20-minute walk back up. So
Yeah.
then I had to Uber myself back to Fox. Luckily, I left an hour ahead, so I got to campus a little like on time. Okay. And literally this morning, bro, this morning, dude, it infuriates me so much. I swear. This morning, I pull the lever. It works this time, except the
Uh,
guy doesn't stop at
he
my bus
just we
stop.
go straight
He
by your
he keeps
stop
he keeps going, and I'm like, I need to get off
at
here
Fox or at your house. The
at
stop at
Fox. Like we're
Fox.
we're in front of Fox. Like you know that bus
Oh,
stop in front of Fox. Like
yeah, yeah. It's like Pico and Motor.
yeah. Like I'm like I need to get off here. The guy goes, no, not getting off there. What?
Are you serious?
Literally, bro. I'm like, bro, I need to get my license, bro, ASAP.
So then he made you walk at the next stop, huh?
I walked it like literally. I walked by two stops, like because it drove me down all the way down. Like
Oh my God.
it was about a good 20-minute walk. Like
Right before
no
the
no
shift.
bull, no bull. It was about 20-minute walk, and it was like hot because I started my shift at 12.
Yeah.
So yeah, going back to the where are we?
Coach
Yeah,
Prime.
did you Coach Prime? There we go. So were you there when he got picked up, or did you kind of just jump in midway through all the hype?
Yeah, when he got picked up in December of 22.
Hmm.
So I was still at my Morningside. But I thought I was sick. I was like, oh my gosh, like I've been rooting for the bus for like my whole life, and
Hmm.
like this is sweet. But never once did I ever think I was ever going to meet him and actually
Yeah.
see him in person, like consistently like that. So now, but every time it's just kind of, he doesn't know me, but like he knows my face.
Yeah.
But I just, it's like, how we doing, coach? Good morning, coach. Simple that, not like, oh yeah, you see that game last night? You
Oh
know,
yeah. For anyone
um,
for anyone in Australia watching, Coach Prime is like a legendary NFL player, if
in
I'm
in in the, in
mistaken.
the United States, yeah.
Yeah, he is a legendary character, huge guy, super cool dude. Um, yeah, and then Danny gets to work alongside him and see him on a day-to-day basis as well. What's he actually like as a person? I know I've heard you answer this question about 5 times, but for the sake of the audience, what are your interactions like, and what's he like as a person?
Very intimidating.
Oh yeah.
He's Well, I'd say like once you be around him a lot, he's not like, he's very obviously intimidating. He's the head coach, right? He's
Hmm.
Deion Sanders prime time. But you kind of get a little more being around him more and used to it. But like when I first started seeing him and anytime I saw him, I was like, I just felt very intimidated, and he wasn't doing anything. It's just like his presence and his ego and how he goes about himself, and plus his history with sport. Like you just know he's a stud. Like
Yeah.
he's the only player to play in the World Series and play in the Super Bowl. He also played MLB too. So he would um play for the Cowboys and then he would play for the Braves like the same day, the Atlanta Braves for the MLB. So
That's a
he
different
just
beast, dude.
yeah, that's just different breed mentality. So like a lot of respect from like all of Boulder. But being around him, like I said, the interactions are just like, "How you doing, coach? Good morning, coach," or like a quick something. Um, I'll have to turn on his laptop. I'll have to take his laptop and actually in his office sometimes, and you have to take your shoes off in there. Like he doesn't allow shoes. He has like his really nice white carpet, and so he'll just be
Oh.
chilling there on the couch. And I'm like, "How we doing?" Just grabbing because I have to put film from practice or on it or
Uh-huh.
something like
Yeah.
that. Um, but yeah, really cool guy, and his brothers are really chill too. So not brothers, sons.
Yeah. Talk to us through walk us through your interactions with the team, because obviously a lot of them have a huge social media following and damn near celebrities at this point. What's that like for you when you're there?
Yeah. I'll interact here and there, but at the end of the day, they're working and I'm working. So it's not a whole lot of time to like, you know, shoot the shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I so like it's kind of like how we doing. You kind of recognize face to face, but some guys they just leaving you alone. Some guys will say what's up, or if you have the camera, they'll go on their camera. Um, and I don't really like go out of my way to speak with a lot of them too. Like if they're in the room, I will say how we doing, but not
Yeah.
really gonna, especially on the field during practice.
Yeah.
But if I see him in the office and I'm like, I'll say what's up or, um, but it's not like I have a close relationship with like anyone on the team.
Yeah.
It's just kind of you're just coworkers basically,
I
and
imagine.
a lot of media too. There's
Yeah.
always a lot of media. Yeah, like Amazon Prime was there the whole season last. I'm actually on an episode. Like I'm in the
Really?
background of an episode. Yeah, it's just me and Coach Prime, ISO shot. He's right here and I'm in the background. And I was freaking out. And so that's on Amazon. People can go watch that. The season two of his first season at CU. So that's pretty sweet
That's sick.
to
That
see
is
like that
that is
whole photography, like that's actual professional documentary like
yeah,
making
yeah.
there. So like that was really cool. And I would talk with some of the guys too and kind of get to know them like what the routine is. And so that was really like every day at practice, basically, they were there. And they had some guy with a boom mic, yeah, this huge camera. Like it was a pretty sweet thing to experience.
The rest of this topic is actually unavailable to the public, so we ended up switching topics to our internship. Enjoy.
But but yeah, I remember when I on that orientation, I was like, I need to just find some kind of a spark with a couple of people, and so to just establish some common ground with people, just so
Mhm.
like it also helps me sort of get into that internship at the start. It's always good trying to network with people.
Oh yeah, no. because it's you always the network with the connections with your fellow interns is like really helpful because they could get a job somewhere.
Yeah.
Like for example, you could get a job somewhere, like say the NBA, and I'm still looking for a job, and I know you, and you can kind of squeak me in.
Yeah.
That's very very. I can't think of the word, but like for example with CU, my buddy was working with the team, so
Hmm.
he kind of snuck me in. He gave me a tour, and they just so happened to be hiring. Like I would have never been able to get into that building if he wasn't working for the team. Like I
Yeah.
would have been another person just emailing who they've never seen or never met. Oh, who is back to what I was saying? I would have not have been able to get into that job, but I would have been someone you just see on the email, and then you
Yeah.
don't know their voice, you don't know anything
Yeah.
about them, and just hey, just interested in your job. So that was what's great, and that's what kind of helped me land the job here with Fox as well, because Fox was so a huge part of CU this year with Big Noon and everything for college football. So it was kind of nice, and I networked my way with one person here at Fox to kind of help me. Like, he didn't get me the job, but he gave me emails to reach out for the job and how to apply. But then when I talked and had my interviews, they really liked how I had media background, and then I worked for like a cool, experienced team.
Yeah.
And so that really gave off my personality and what I have to offer and what I want to do. So, but yeah, then again, it just goes back to knowing the people in there and just the connections. And obviously, I feel like more like with your interns because they're all growing up the same as you. And
Yeah.
so it just kind of keeping that connection, especially with LinkedIn. Like they didn't have that a while ago. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I only started LinkedIn about last year.
Yeah, mine's coming up on 2 years, probably like September.
Yeah. I had the guy that helped me get to Iowa Wesleyan, my first college, he told me to get LinkedIn like 3 years ago, and I just never did. And then what was it? Something happened and I just needed to create a LinkedIn account. So I did, and then I just started like pressing connect on like a whole bunch of people, and then I found out a whole bunch about the plus 500 on the plus 500 connections on LinkedIn, and apparently that holds some kind of weight with people. And when you see it, you're like, oh damn. Then yeah,
See, I don't have that
you
because
gotta
I only connect with people I know.
yeah, don't do that. So what you should
Well,
do.
like even like random people will try and connect with me, and
Mhm.
I will just decline them.
So, so a good example is when I was looking into like jobs in sports, I had no idea what was out there, right? So I literally like bar search LA Lakers, and then I found a whole bunch of people that work for the Lakers because that's basketball, and I wanted to be in basketball. And then I just press connect, shoot them a message, hey, how you going? Would love to set up some call, a 10-minute call to introduce myself and ask a little bit about your career. So then I ended up in some networking calls, and once I had that first interview, I just kept going, dude. Like I kept going to the point where on my day off on Monday, I met with a guy that I had an informational call with from LA Galaxy. He gave me a tour of the
I
stadium
did see that on
behind
your
them.
LinkedIn. I was like, well, how the heck did you get that? I was like, how do you know someone out here? But that explains a lot.
Yeah,
Well, that actually just gave me a lot of tips on what to do. That's good looks, dude. That's pretty good. That's really professional for
yeah.
sure.
And going back to that media stuff, how do you, what sort of training did they expect you to have? And like, did they train you guys like to do some other stuff as well? Or is that just,
That clip up. Um, but then I'll just stay up on this. Like media training, we don't really get a like media training for like how to shoot or like who to shoot or stuff like that. Like for me, I kind of just picked up like how to do it. Some people
Yeah.
pick up a little slower, some people like do extra stuff on the side. They help you out obviously, but like editing, they expect you to know how to do that. They expect you to know how to work a camera. That you can't just go and say, "Hey, I want to do this, but I don't know what to do." you
Mhm.
know. And but like as you're around football, if you know football, you know where to be, you know where to get the cool shots. My favorite's going low. I love to get like those type of angles. I feel like they're really cinematic and gets a cool kind of depth perception, like when it goes on the highlight reel. Not depth, but like a cool angle, you know, that
Yeah.
people like to see. That's intriguing to the eye. So that's kind of how you just pick it up. And my for like my training is just watching reels like of what people do, how they edit, how where they shoot, you know, what's their color like, what's what's maybe the editing software they use. Do they use Adobe After Effects? Like what are the, you know, all those like little stuff, and then just gives you ideas for your next film of what you want to do. Um, and so that's kind of like my training. And that's actually something I would suggest to you if you like doing that stuff. Like my whole photography account of Reels is just on Instagram Reels, is just people's edits of
Hmm.
football, you know, baseball, basketball is a huge hype sport, you know. So, and it's sweet, it's great. And I just think it's so cool. It's a lot, it's very time consuming though, you know.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, even for me, like when I'm trying to find inspiration or even just edit a video, like so I only got access to Premiere like early this year, and then the SID was kind of like, all right, go play around, see what you come up with. So then that's where
Mhm.
all those cinematic videos came into play. Um, but yeah, you're definitely right about that media stuff. I mean, it's really difficult to kind of be like, hey, I want to try out videography. Can you give me a job? It doesn't work like that, you know. Um, I think for me, my experience came from probably the amount of basketball mixtapes that I made for sure. Like I've made so many mixtapes. And here's the thing, like I grew up just using iMovie, right? Now if a professional videographer heard that, they'd be like, oh, iMovie. It's kind of like why would you use that? But it was free and it taught me the basics.
As everyone did, like low
Like
key.
it was
iMovie
free
was
and
just the app you
yeah,
had.
yeah, yeah, no, it's you definitely just have to start somewhere. I think the hardest thing to do is to start.
Yeah, no, I totally say the starting. I learned my dad was a huge. He always kind of did the videoing stuff, so I kind of always watched him do it, and then I was able to pick it up pretty quick. A
Hmm.
lot, you know. I started on Final Cut. Actually, it was like my kind of like first thing, and then I picked up the basics of editing, and then with Adobe being around the media team, I learned a lot with that, how they work and how they edit, and just even stuff I had no idea. Like I'm still learning, and you know what's actually really, it was crazy because the other day I was in the tape room at Fox Sports,
Hmm.
and this guy was editing next to me who actually works on the herd as well, and he was using Adobe, and he was so fast, like crazy wicked fast, like
Really?
just knew what he was doing. Oh, professional, like better than like anyone, like just, you know, and obviously the stuff we do with the flashy, with the creative, it's a little different editing, you know, it's
Hmm.
more time consuming, but he doesn't have time. He has to get a quick highlight with the graphic to the highlights team like right
Hmm.
away, you know. Um, so he's just, or even for the herd, like he'll um edit something, put like the courtesy, you know, add some graphics around the video and then send it to the herd sequence. And
Hmm.
so it's just like super quick stuff that's they're pretty top tier with that editing.
Yeah, I mean, I think even when I'm working tag board, I've got a monitor that sort of just tells me, it just so I can see everything, right? Like all the stuff that goes on there, I can see it. Like same as everyone, we see it about 10 seconds before it actually gets shown to the world so they can fix up stuff they don't like and all that. Um, yeah, and I've noticed like if I'm on the comms and one of the directors like, damn, good job, tape. Like that was really good. And it's amazing because they've got to make that so quick and with like almost every team for like a mixtape, which kind of almost like a mixtape for like 20-second period, and it's just something that's really cool.
Mhm. Yeah, no, it is cool to see that.
Crazy. And it might not sound crazy to you, but it was crazy to me. So I'm sitting in post-production, right? And I'm watching this guy edit hey guy,
What?
Pulisic, I'm tweaking,
Oh,
Pulisic.
Pulisic. I was like, I don't
My bad,
think I
man.
know.
Pulisic.
Yeah, I know Pulisic.
This producer was editing a Pulisic documentary or something like that. I don't know what he was doing, but we ended up pulling clips for him anyways. And one of his associates was talking about video formats and using audio as the backbone to a video and then filling it up with clips instead. And I found that so mind-blowing because what I do is that I'm going through videos and I'm like, oh, that's a nice clip. Let me take that. That's a nice clip. Let me take that. And then I worry about the audio later. But then this guy was like, all right, we have this audio of Tom Rinaldi talking or like music. Let's use that
Yeah.
as a backbone. And then let's just find what clips will fit that audio. And I'm like, oh my God, I never thought about that.
Yeah, I know. It's weird. It's they know more.
Like, I don't know,
Oh,
like is that something you
well, that's the
knew at
thing.
all?
They know more ways of how to work around it and to make it more efficient.
Yeah,
As like we would do like, oh, drag just the clip or
yeah,
drag just the audio or and the clip, make it vary. But I'm like, no, let's do this.
yeah.
And you're like, all right, yeah, I'm stupid. I am pretty stupid right now. So
Dude, I felt
like
so stupid.
yeah, anything they say, I'm like, yeah, you're right, dude. I'm like,
Oh
I'm
man.
not gonna argue. You know what you're doing. I'm just here.
Yeah, basically. That's the life of an intern right there.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So where does just sort of the final touches over here, what does the future look like for Mr. Danny O'Brien? What do you have you even thought about what you wanted to do, or has Fox opened a couple more ideas to you, or what?
Man, I'm not too sure. Not too sure. I'm just checking out Fox right now for sure. Like, I definitely have the thing, oh man, like if I work hard, like try and get a full-time spot here, but also got to feel like how I like LA.
Hmm.
There's a little bit to it. I really like doing the social flashy stuff. I'm on the field, I'm on the games, I'm right there. That's like my number one high um thing. So hopefully doing another two more seasons with the team will really help build my resume and my portfolio for that work to possibly the goal is to try and work for a sports team,
Hmm.
whether it be NBA and NFL or even MLB, just doing that type of stuff. And because to me that's fun and it doesn't feel like work, like you're around, like I get paid to watch CU football games. Like that's cool.
Hmm.
Like a lot of people here, they're like, "Oh yeah, I get paid to watch Super Bowls," and I'm like,
Yeah,
"Wow, like
that's yeah.
and I get to go to the game, like which is even better." So I just love being in sports. That's just kind of my thing. And same with you, being in the NBA, like totally. Even if it's but that's the thing. Even if you start at a D1 college and then you get to the NBA, it's just like starting somewhere, then going um, to where you want to go, and you work hard enough. But yes, but to answer your question, just kind of figuring out, focused on the football season that's coming up here. Right when I get back, I got to just go straight to fall camp.
Yeah, no,
Um,
that's actually the same as me. When I get back, the my SID actually asked me to help him out with the football stuff. So
oh yeah,
yeah, I'm
well,
on the
dude, it's
same boat.
great. You totally should take advantage. Like, totally take advantage. It's like the one thing I would say is that you're at a smaller school. There's like, I don't know, there's probably one more other person or no one doing that
No,
at
just me
that
and the
school.
SID. Yeah.
It's just, no, seriously. But that was just me doing that flashy stuff, right? I go to CU, there's media production major, there was a whole ton of people doing that. So there's a lot of competition of what you like to do, what we like to do. There's a lot of other people doing that. So, and I learned that when I went to, I was like, oh, damn, a
Yeah.
lot of people have the same idea with me with that. So it's competitive, honestly, once you see that. But what I would do is take advantage of being the only person at your school doing that, shoot multiple sports, make videos for them, make videos for the athletes, and you'll just grow that following. And that'll
Yeah.
really help with uh going to a different school, a bigger school where you can get more, like maybe after you graduate, if you want to work for a bigger school or team, you get more professional. And that's what helped me out going to CU, it's a very big school, so there's a lot of it's a big D1, it's an FBS,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it's like big sports. So and I learned a lot with like being around that, and I got to go to some cool games. And but the one thing I do wish I kind of picked it up at Morningside earlier, rather for a whole year rather than just a half semester, because I would have done football, I would have done basketball, I went to baseball, and then all the guys would be like, "Oh, that's sweet, man! Like, our that's a cool video following," and then you're just known as the camera guy that can make cool videos.
That's
You
still a
know?
pretty cool thing though.
No, I just think that's everyone knows you, and it's sick.
Yeah.
Like, it's I just think for college, like definitely this fall, like attack that, because you're the only one. You don't have to worry about anyone else.
Yeah.
Like I have CU, I have to worry about a lot of people of like, and I'm all chill with them. There's no bad blood. It's just like doing
That's
the
just
same
the
thing I want to
nature of
do
it.
in
Yeah.
sport. Yeah, just in being in sports.
Yeah,
So
the sports industry is hyper competitive because there's just so many people that want to work in it, you know.
oh yeah, but we have a great gig with doing the foxing. That definitely
Oh
helps.
yeah, it does really help, and we're obviously very very grateful for that too.
Oh yeah, no, of course. Never I don't even take it for granted right now still.
Yeah, you
It's so
know,
short, but
uh,
it was a grind to definitely get it. It's not a lot of people sign up, so very appreciative for it.
yeah, and one of the most common things I'm hearing from just the older people at Fox that have been there for a while, they say stuff like that you said, and what we say a lot is they get paid to watch sports.
Yeah, and they're working, and but they're working and they're watching the game at the same time. Like Euros, dude, tape. I'm getting paid to just watch soccer.
Yeah.
Just got 22 guys on the field battle it out.
But it's
It's like
amazing
love
and
it.
it's so fun. It's so
Oh
fun.
yeah, like you know,
Uh,
it's great. So sweet.
uh, well, that wraps it up for today's podcast. Thank you very much, Danny. We're really appreciative of your time and thanks for bringing out
Yeah.
all those experiences to us, man. Good luck at CU.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, thanks for having me on. And maybe down the line, if you keep doing it, like come on in a couple months later, so if you'll have me back
Of
when the
course.
season's going.
Of course. Of course. Look forward to it, man.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you so much.
And back.